When I booked my solo ticket to Wales in the spring of 2025, I wasn't chasing landmarks. I was chasing a feeling, that sweet blend of freedom, salt air, and the quiet thrill of not knowing exactly what tomorrow will bring. The Wales Coast Path, stretching over 870 miles, was my chosen companion for 2 weeks, and I planned to meet it one rugged, breathtaking footstep at a time. Day 1, Cardiff Bay to Sully. The morning Cardiff sky was pale silver, like someone had washed it in seawater. My boots hit the trail at Cardiff Bay, where the scent of roasted coffee from harborside cafes tempted me to linger. But the coastline called. By the time I reached Sully, the city's hum had faded into the gentle hiss of waves against shingle. I stayed in a small B&B run by a retired sailor who told me stories of storms that could bend a mast like a matchstick. That night, the lull of the tide outside my window made the world feel impossibly safe. Day 3, Rossili Bay, Gower Peninsula. Everyone had told me about Rossili Bay, but nothing prepared me for its drama. Golden sand arched like a crescent moon under a sky so blue it seemed unreal. I hiked to Worm's Head at low tide, a narrow causeway where the sea surged on both sides, and felt like I was walking straight into the Atlantic's arms. On my way back, a woman at a cliffside kiosk handed me warm Welsh cakes dusted with sugar. I ate them slowly, watching surfers trace silver arcs across the waves. It was one of those simple moments that stitched itself into my memory. Day 6, Pembrokeshire's Wild Coast. By the time I reached Pembrokeshire, the landscape had grown wilder. Sheer cliffs plunged into turquoise water, puffins darted overhead, and the wind was so fierce it pressed my jacket against my skin. I joined a small kayaking group to explore sea caves near St. David's, their walls painted in layers of moss, lichen, and mineral streaks. Every paddle stroke echoed like a heartbeat in the cool, shadowed chambers. That evening, my guest house served freshly caught mackerel with buttery potatoes. We ate communally, strangers swapping stories under low wooden beams, while rain whispered against the windows. Day 9, the Lynn Peninsula. If Pembrokeshire felt untamed, the Lynn Peninsula felt secretive. Narrow paths wound through wildflower meadows before spilling out onto quiet coves where the sand was so fine it squeaked under my boots. I stumbled upon a tiny chapel clinging to the cliffside, no bigger than a garden shed, and left a pebble there, a silent thank you for the journey so far. Day 13, Anglesea's Lighthouses. My final stretch brought me to Anglesey, where the coastline curves around in a restless embrace with the sea. I walked out to South Stack Lighthouse, its white tower gleaming against the slate-gray ocean. Gulls wheeled above, their cries sharp in the brisk wind. I stood there for a long time, watching waves detonate against black rocks far below. The world felt wide and wild, and I felt completely at home in it. The takeaway traveling solo on the Wales Coast Path 2025 wasn't about ticking off tourist spots. It was about meeting the coastline on its own terms. Sometimes gentle, sometimes fierce, but always unforgettable. It was the feeling of my lungs filling with salt air, my legs aching from miles walked, and my heart swelling every time the horizon opened up before me. If you ever need to remember what freedom tastes like, come here. The path is waiting. A detailed travel documentary and review, stretching 870 miles, 1,400 kilometers, along the wild, rugged, and captivating edges of Wales. The Wales Coast Path is more than just a hiking trail. It's a living postcard of unspoiled beaches, dramatic cliffs, ancient castles, and vibrant coastal towns. In 2025, it continues to attract eco-conscious travelers, food lovers, culture enthusiasts, and adventure seekers from around the globe. First, eco-friendly nature of the Wales Coast Path. Wales has committed itself strongly to sustainability, and the Coast Path is a shining example of eco-friendly tourism done right. Conservation efforts, managed by natural resources. Wales, the trail preserves local wildlife habitats, from puffin nesting cliffs in Pembrokeshire to the grey seal colonies near Ceredigion. Plastic-free initiatives. Many coastal villages along the route participate in zero plastic campaigns, with refill stations for water bottles and eco-friendly packaging for takeaway food. Green transport. The path is easily accessible via public buses and local trains, reducing the need for private cars. Responsible hiking. Signage encourages staying on designated paths to protect native flora like sea pinks, gorse, and thrift. 2. Food, a coastal culinary adventure. Wales Coast is a paradise for food lovers, fresh, seasonal, and deeply rooted in tradition. Seafood excellence. Try freshly caught laverbread, seaweed delicacy, with cockles in Swansea, or Pembrokeshire lobster paired with local butter. Traditional Welsh dishes, don't miss cawl, a rich lamb stew, and Welsh rarebit, cheesy perfection on thick bread. Farm-to-table cafes. In towns like Aberystwyth, cozy cafes serve vegetables grown within a few miles, accompanied by local cheeses. Sweet treats. Welsh cakes and Barrabrith spiced fruit loaf make for perfect trail snacks. 3. Culture craze experience. Walking the coast path isn't just about nature. It's a dive into Welsh history and vibrant culture. Language. Expect to see bilingual signs, Welsh and English. The Welsh language is proudly preserved, and locals love sharing a greeting. Shwmae, hello. Music and festivals. Summer brings coastal folk music gatherings and the National Eisteddfod, a celebration of poetry, song, and dance. Legends and myths. From King Arthur's connections in West Wales to mermaid tales in Cardigan Bay, local storytelling adds magic to the journey. Castles and heritage. You'll encounter over a dozen medieval castles, each with its own wartime tale. 4th, top tourist centers along the path. Here are must-visit adventure spots on the Wales Coast Path. 1. Anglesey Coastal Walk. Rugged cliffs, tidal islands, and seabird colonies. 2nd, Pembrokeshire Coast National Park. Golden beaches and dramatic cliff trails. 3. Gower Peninsula. Britain's first area of outstanding natural beauty. 4. Cardigan Bay. Home to Europe's largest population of bottlenose dolphins. 5. Tenby. Pastel-colored houses, harbor charm, and rich maritime history. 6. Lynn Peninsula. Remote beauty and pilgrimage routes. 5. Budget-friendly travel tips. Exploring Wales doesn't have to break the bank. Accommodation. Use eco-hostels, coastal campsites, or Airbnb stays in local homes. Transport. Purchase a Transport for Wales rail card for discounted train fares. Food savings. Many towns have farmers' markets, cheaper and fresher than supermarkets. Free attractions, beaches, cliffs, and heritage walks cost nothing, and views are priceless. Closing thoughts. The Wales Coast Path 2025 offers more than a hike. It's a soul-refreshing experience. With its eco-friendly practices, mouth-watering local food, rich cultural traditions, and affordable travel options, it's an adventure worth every step. Whether you're there for the rugged beauty, the history, or the food, one thing's certain: Wales will leave a piece of itself in your heart. Visa requirements for visiting Wales as part of the UK. Wales is part of the United Kingdom, so visa and entry rules follow UK-wide regulations. Do you need an ETA or a visa? As of 2025, many visitors, including those from the US, Canada, Australia, and most European countries, must apply for an electronic travel authorization, ETA, before arriving. This applies even to tourists who previously traveled visa-free. The ETA costs around £10 to £16, is valid for 2 years, and covers stays up to 6 months for purposes like tourism or visiting family. If you're from a country not eligible for ETA, you must apply for a UK visitor visa in advance, which typically costs £115 for up to 6 months. Longer-term or multiple entry visas, 2, 5, or 10 years, are also available. Common requirements for UK visitor visas. Passport valid for the duration of your stay, with at least one blank page. Completed online visa application and payment of visa fee. Passport-style photograph. Proof of funds, 6 months of bank statements or pay slips, and a clear travel itinerary. Accommodation confirmation or invitation letter, and proof of ties to your home country to show intent to return. Cultural rules to follow. While in Wales, here's what you should avoid doing to ensure respect for local customs and culture. Never cut in line, speak loudly in public, or use poor manners in restaurants. It's considered very rude. Avoid discussing polarizing topics like politics, religion, or income in public settings. This can make people uncomfortable. Do not wear hats or sunglasses indoors, particularly in places like churches, museums, or private homes. Guests are expected to remove coats or hats out of respect. Maintain personal space, especially in rural areas. Keep a respectful distance while interacting. Summary table topic details. Entry requirement. Either ETA, visa waiver, 10 to 16 pounds, or visitor visa, advance application, approximately 115 pounds. Required documents, valid passport, photo, finances, itinerary, accommodation intentions. Cultural no-goes. Do not cut lines, speak loudly, discuss sensitive topics publicly, or wear hats, sunglasses indoors.